Welcome back to the MCI Center. Let's take a look at our Circuit City starting lineups. The Magic, playing game one of a three-game road trip, will go with a combination of Mike Miller, Pat Garrity, Sean Kemp on the front line, and Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill in the backcourt. While the Wizards, in game two of a four-game homestand, with Jerry Stackhouse out, Brian Russell in the starting lineup up front with Christian Laettner, has played well as of late. Brendan Haywood is the center, Michael Jordan, and Larry Hughes in the backcourt. Wizards have lost their last two here at home to sub-500 teams, losing to Golden State, and as we mentioned before, that bad loss to the Raptors on Tuesday night. Right here, let's check in with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Thanks a lot, Marv. Well, before the game, I spoke to Grant Hill about the condition of his left ankle. Now, everyone thought it was tendonitis, but it's not. It's a structural problem. Now, even though that may sound worse than tendonitis, Grant Hill said that he was just relieved to finally know what was wrong with his ankle. Now, currently, you'll notice he wears a special shoe fitted with orthotics that slightly tilts the ankle inward to eliminate some pressure. But Marv, Grant said that his ankle is feeling much better.
And Doc Rivers telling us prior to the game that it's certainly great to have Grant Hill back on the floor, but he's not as sharp as he was earlier in the season, and at times he does struggle with the speed of the game. The officials are Ron Garretson, Scott Foster, and Anthony Jordan as the Wizards control the opening tip. Laettner puts the move on Garrity. Strong move by Christian Laettner to get it going.
I think we'll see a concerted effort tonight by Washington. The big people must try to take advantage of a smaller Orlando team. If they do not punish the Orlando team up front, then they will eventually wind up going small, which is to Orlando's advantage.
Laettner directs traffic, and once again going at Garrity, went to the crossover and then had to give it up. Haywood got the step. Good play by Kemp.
And we see the first three times that they make a move offensively, it's all from frontline people. Laettner twice, Haywood the next time.
Washington has to trust their inside players that they can produce, and they've got to produce to take the burden off Jordan and the perimeter players.
All right, Jordan touching the ball for the first time. Good play by Hughes. Jordan from Hughes. And there's no question the Wizards have come out with energy here at the start. We discussed right at the top the fact that Doug Collins was very upset with the performance the other night against a struggling Toronto team sparked by Rafer Alston and Damone Brown, a couple of pickups from the development league.
Well, the last two words at the shoot-around today for Washington were passion and energy from Doug Collins to his team.
And Marv, Mike did not know that Rafer Alston, who you just mentioned, was nicknamed Skip to My Lou.
No, how can you say I didn't know it? I mean,
well, there was a discussion as Laettner is able to hit. You question the terminology of the skip dribble. This was several games back, and it comes, as Jeff indicated, from Skip to My Lou, Rafer Alston,
who happened to have a very large game here against the Wizards.
I just mentioned that. Well,
I just wanted to follow up on it.
Anytime.
In fact, both Rafer Alston and Damone Brown are playing on 10-day contracts. The Raptors the other day dressed only 8 players. A live TNT NBA Thursday Spanish language feed is now available via SAP. Jeff, the Czars had a very, very tough day. He was 35 minutes late when we were scheduled to get into the plush car that takes us to the arena. It seems that he forgot his briefcase in his room, went back to the room, the door is locked, goes down to the front desk, gets a key, goes upstairs, the door is locked again, the key doesn't work, goes back downstairs, like a sitcom.
It could have been a Seinfeld episode. And again, as Hughes drives it to the rim, just one excuse after another for his lateness and his tardiness.
All right, here's Miller. McGrady with the tip. Tracy McGrady with a sweeping tip. So the Wizards with a 6-2 lead. What I'm getting at is his attention span might be off slightly here at the start. Brendan Haywood being played by Sean Kemp. Haywood draws the foul. It counts, and he'll head to the line.
So, Jeff, as we heard today at shoot-around, there was going to be a real strong effort by the Wizards to get the ball inside, and they are staying with their game plan initially, going right at Sean Kemp, the big man for Orlando up front, putting a foul on him and converting the play. We're seeing the front line try to assert the advantage. But there were a lot of things that Doug Collins talked to us about after the shoot-around this morning, and Marv will try and bring most of those up to make you aware of them as the game goes on.
I had other commitments this morning, as you know.
To sleep.
No.
And I appreciate those commitments.
But I told Doug the other day that my staff members
Yeah, he mentioned that to us.
will be representing me. 3 minutes gone by, and the Wizards have an 8-2 lead. Russell with a nice move. Brian Russell taking it to the rim.
And it's so important for him to play well. His minutes had been cut as his production went down. He came into camp heavy. He's still a little bit overweight. He's a very good on-ball defender, a good spot-up three-point shooter, and it always helps to start with a layup.
Here's Garrity for three. And Garrity, one of the better three-point shooters of the NBA, able to knock it down. Wizards off to the good start, but they did jump in front 10-0 on Toronto the other day and lost. Michael Jordan. So Washington with a 12-5 advantage. Miller, yes, Miller over Hughes.
When you look at the young pieces that this Magic team has, and obviously the cornerstones for the future are Tracy McGrady and Mike Miller, and then you're going to try to add pieces with a significant number of first-round picks. But they have Michael Jordan again hitting the jump shot, that mid-range 17, 18-foot jumper, and Orlando trying to take advantage of their transition opportunities. Sean Kemp with the perimeter game.
Tracy McGrady.
I was getting back to the cornerstones, though. They have a number of high first-round picks coming up in the next couple of years. They have a little bit of money for free agency, as Jordan again tees it up. So this team, when you look at perimeter players, they've got 2 or 3 of the best perimeter players in the league.
Here's McGrady. And he is fouled. Tracy McGrady, fouled by Christian Laettner. Tracy McGrady only 6 of 19, 20 points. And the Magic's last game this past Monday night at home as they lost to Detroit 101-86. Their previous game last Sunday beat the Sixers in Philadelphia. 101 points, big number for Detroit. They average only 90 per game.
Clearly, that's still the Magic's #1 Achilles heel, besides the injury factor with Hill, is their defense. Their defense is not strong. It wasn't strong last year, and they've got to get an inside presence who can protect the basket, blocking shots. Right now, if you break down their perimeter with dribble penetration, they have nothing to stop you at the basket.
Well, what happens is when you are limited because of personnel or injuries, sometimes you tend to go to junk defenses, Jeff, and the junk defenses in the end inevitably don't let you have the championship defense that you need.
Garrity again fired from downtown.
And that's not a knock on philosophy. It's trying to do what you have to do to win basketball games. So sometimes you jump it up a little bit and don't stay with a basic foundation.
Hill too strong off after the good setup. Larry Hughes with a beautiful penetration. Doc Rivers telling us earlier that in the 2 previous games, Hughes really hurt the Magic. It's the 3rd of 4 meetings between the Wizards and the Magic. Orlando won the first 2. In fact, they have won 12 of the last 15. And Michael Jordan off to the good start. 8 points on 4 of 6 from the field.
Well, this is like too easy for Michael right now. He's getting wide open looks. He's made one tough shot, in my opinion, since the game has started.
Hill. And back comes Hughes.
See, the problem with Hill right now is he's going to play as Hughes drives and fouls. The problem with Grant Hill right now is he's just getting into a rhythm. He's going to play his 6 minutes. He never practices, and now he's got to come out. because he can't play too many minutes in a row. Then he's going to come back in, do the same thing. It's going to be impossible for him to get in a rhythm of the game.
Mark, let me give you a little quiz, Mark, okay? A little test for you. You have 25 minutes in the game for Grant Hill. How are you going to divide up his 25 minutes as a coach?
Well, as Doc Rivers told us earlier.
No, I know Doc knows what he's doing. I'm asking you.
I heard what the philosophy is. So,
but you could have a different philosophy.
It wouldn't be fair. What he does is the 6-6-6, and he hopes to have a couple of minutes at the end of the game.
Jeff, for example, he would sit Grant Hill the whole first half and just play him the whole second half.
No, and I'm not joking about that. I would really give that heavy consideration to not playing him until the second half and play him all the way through. That way he could get warm, get in a rhythm, and play throughout the rest of the game when it's most important.
Wouldn't that be difficult after warming up prior to the game? And the timeout is called, so they save the possession. I realize what you're saying. Then he'd go through a heavy warm-up at halftime to get ready for
That's
the second
what I
half.
would have him do.
Timeout with 5:42 remaining. First quarter.
Those are the type of situations where now we gave one back to a course. Now we got to go make a birdie somewhere to even that out, with a game that, no one expects us to win. And, I think we're capable of doing it. We just have to stay connected.
They talked to members of the Wizard coaching staff. They say it was their worst loss of the season, particularly when they appeared to be playing their best basketball.
Two things after the game. Charles Oakley, veteran, sat in front of his locker for about an hour with his jersey on, just did not take it off. It bothered him that much. Michael Jordan, for the first time this season, walked out of the locker room after the game and just did not talk to me. That's how upset the two veterans were with that loss.
And after that great Knicks game, Jordan had golf on his mind. He took a little R&R and played some golf that day, and was asking for a birdie or an eagle.
The steal by Russell. Michael Jordan, for about a week, was playing through a bout with the flu and ended up going 40 minutes in 3 consecutive games. Says he's all right now and was extremely upset with the performance against Toronto. That will count. It's a goaltend on Shawn Kemp.
Shawn Kemp trying to show us that he's lost about 40 to 45 pounds. He's got a little lift in those legs. In fact, sometimes Shawn might be working a little bit too hard, as we see the obvious goaltending right there. Kemp does his stationary biking prior to games, after the games, putting double sessions in on his own, and he's dropped, as I mentioned, almost 45 pounds, but it may be taking its toll because he struggled a little bit over the last couple of weeks. You can do too much to wear your body out when you lose all that weight.
Yes, he came into camp overweight, out of shape. Once again, Michael Jordan, he has 10 points, 10 unanswered now for the Wizards. Four and a half remaining in this first quarter. McGrady had it knocked away.
And Brian Russell is a very good defender because he's got great timing. So as McGrady went into that spin move, he moved his feet, he stripped down, knocked it out of bounds, got the deflection. Very nice defensive play by Russell.
Andrew DeClerc has checked in for the first time. Got clock at 1. Here's Miller for 3. Mike Miller from downtown just did beat the 24.
Amazing, boy. Guys who make shots can really make the offense look good and bail you out when the 24-second clock is running down.
And Doug Collins told us today, one of their biggest weaknesses besides transition defense is pick and roll defense, and that's how Miller got the wide open 3.
Foul committed by McGrady. That's his first. That will send Jordan to the line.
Let's go back to one more point about the young cornerstones I mentioned before. There are a lot of rumors involving Mike Miller. Doc Rivers told us Mike Miller is going nowhere. He is staying here. We know who we are. We know what we've got. Mike Miller, Tracy McGrady, those guys will be around here for a while. And hopefully some free agent money that they have. Not as much as people thought they had. They got about $5 million in free agent money to use at the end of this year. But a lot of draft picks that they can use.
And one of the names that has resurfaced in Orlando, we heard it earlier in the season, Kwame Brown, who Magic has not hidden the fact that they are very interested in Kwame Brown. Jordan not able to hit. And back comes Armstrong. Here's McGrady for three. So Tracy McGrady from downtown is a 38% three-point shooter. Wizards now lead 25-16.
Well, Marv, you said about Kwame Brown's we get a timeout coming up, but let's talk about the fact that basically what they want is a big man, and they could have had a big man, in fact, which we'll get back to in a second, if they wouldn't have done a certain trade.
Trades involving Brendan Hayward.
We'll get back to that.
All right, we'll get back. I don't want to mess up your point.
Ernie Johnson in Atlanta's Studio A. Hey, if you're near a computer, log on to NBA.com, will you, sometime before the night's over, and tell us who's the Got Milk Rookie of the Year so far this season. Deron Butler, Yao Ming, Amari Stoudemire, DeJuan Wagner, Jay Williams. Hey, by the way, Amari Stoudemire going to be joining us at halftime. And Marv, who do you think so far, and how about those coaches with you?
Well, my selection in a very tight race would be Yao Ming over Amari Stoudemire, but that's a toss-up. Guys?
Yes.
Well, I don't think anybody up for any major award, from All-Star Game to Rookie of the Year, should be considered unless they're on a team that's 500 or better. That eliminates the three. It's Yao Ming or Stoudemire. I'm taking Stoudemire.
I have a tie right now at this moment.
A tie?
I have a tie between Yao Ming and Stoudemire. I do. That's what I have right now. That's why we have the rest of the season.
Meanwhile, Michael Jordan with 13 points. So Michael off to the fast start.
We can have a tie in the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Why can't we have a tie right now?
Different. Brendan Hayward rejecting Andrew DeClerc.
Big people inside, change shots, change field goal percentage. That's why Orlando is looking to pick up a big man.
There is some precedent, though, with a tie for rookie honors. Foul is called. Foul on Russell, remember? Dave Collins, Zach Petrie.
And wasn't there another one later with did Hill share it with or no?
We'll have to get to the record book. Tracy McGrady, yeah, Jason Kidd and Grant Hill.
So basically, now that's like a form of apology the way I take it.
No, not at all.
No, not close. No, that was a number of voters, and as it came out as a tie, not one person saying that there's a tie. And Michael Jordan's upset with his teammates. He was fouled. He'll head to the line as the clerk is called for the foul.
See, he's not. I didn't take it that he's upset with his teammates. I thought that he was talking to his teammates, trying to emphasize a certain point on how they're going to play a certain play or emphasize how they're going to execute offense. But that's how you interpret things. That's why you think people are angry all the time.
Now, it started seriously in the backcourt where he fired the ball at Larry Hughes. Did you see that?
No, but his sucking up to Michael Jordan
it's
is bordering
incredible.
on obscene.
Yes. You saw not looking at that portion of the court.
It's tough for me to see that portion of the court, to be honest with you, with the telescreen here.
Stephen Hunter has checked in for the first time, and he draws the foul. Stephen Hunter in his second game back following the knee injury, second-year man out of DePaul.
234 Stephen Hunter at the line for Magic, 2 shots.
Foul on Hayward is first. Now, you wanted to talk about Brendan Hayward earlier. You were talking about big men that Orlando could have had.
I do, but right now I want to talk about Michael Jordan because Jeff mentioned somebody has to pick up the stock if Stackhouse is not there. Well, in the first quarter, Michael Jordan starts it off by getting an inside layup, which is easy. Come down in transition, little pull-up, and then coming off the screen right there at the elbow area, 6 for 9 from the floor, 15 points for Michael Jordan, and easy points.
Ron Lou has come on for the first time. So Lou and Jordan now at the guards. Here's Jordan posting, went to the left hand, kept alive by Hayward.
And it all started with the post-up. Tracy McGrady got some help as Jordan went by him to the middle of the floor. No one sunk down to put a body on Brendan Hayward. Dunk, too easy.
Another three for Mike Miller. He has 8 points with just under 2 minutes remaining. in this first quarter. It's a 31-21 Washington lead.
And Marv, if this game turns into a shootout, a scoring affair, it plays into Orlando's hands. Washington right now is scoring easily, but they've still got to defend with intensity and passion.
Russell for three. Leitner with the offensive board. And Tyronn Lue resetting against Darrell Armstrong. Jordan, yes. Michael Jordan with 17 points. He's hit on 7 of 11 from the field.
And they're running the same play over and over, and it continues to give them problems as Miller misses a 3. But his shots down here are 2 uncontested. He comes off, curls into the lane. McGrady's got him. No one steps up. You can't give Michael Jordan open 12-footers.
If you could have just seen the look on Michael Jordan's face as Miller was standing there wide open. Michael was the weak side defender. He was trying to get up, rotate up to him. He got screened in by a big man, and you knew on the look that, uh-oh, I'm caught. There's another 3, but fortunately it was a miss.
Jordan gives it up. Here's Lue. Yes! So Michael drew the double team, saw he was in heavy traffic, and was able to find the open man. Jordan tried to draw the charge. Down to 40 seconds remaining in the quarter. Hunter to Clerk with the rebound and foul from behind by Haywood.
Since DeClerc has come into the game, we've seen Haywood, Brendan Haywood, all over the floor, basically leaving DeClerc anytime DeClerc is up on the perimeter. Haywood becomes the guy to come over, double team McGrady, try and help on Miller coming off the screens. They pay no attention to DeClerc when he's on the outside. However, when he gets down low, he is a very effective offensive rebounder. Then you got to get a body on him.
Andrew DeClerc, the 8-year man from Florida, at the line. A reminder coming up next here on TNT. It's game 2 of our exclusive NBA coverage. The Seattle Sonics and the Utah Jazz tomorrow on ESPN2. It's the Bucks and the Sixers starting at 7. And on ESPN at 9:30, Lakers and Rockets as Shaq goes up against Yao Ming. And be sure to join us back on TNT Monday for a Martin Luther King Day special triple header with our coverage beginning at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Jordan off the fake, draws the foul. A series of fakes against Gerald Sasser, a second-year man from SMU, had just checked in.
Well, Michael looked up at the clock and knew he could get a 2-for-1 situation if he hurry up and shot it. He uses the pump fake, draws Sasser up into the air. There it is on Jordan's arm, and he goes to the line now for 2. And Marv, we just saw Haywood go off the floor. We saw Kwame Brown come on the floor, and that reminds you of the big man trade we were talking about.
Yes, they've made 2 significant trades Orlando has. First, and most importantly, Ben Wallace was traded to get Grant Hill, but the Magic could have signed Grant Hill without trading Wallace. So, in essence, what looked to be a one-sided trade when Orlando got Hill has turned to be one-sided trade the other way because of Wallace's emergence. And then, as you said, Mike, they also traded away Brendan Haywood, who's played very effectively for Washington. So they've lost 2 quality big men in the last year.
They've lost another guy, too. How about Horace Grant? Not with the team any longer. Was with the team, and then because of whatever happened internally there, Horace Grant no longer with the team.
Shot clock down to 3. Jordan with the steal. Has a 3-on-1. Garrity back, and Garrity gives the foul with 2.6 remaining in this first quarter.
Michael Jordan smart enough to know that if the ball handler turns his back on him, Jordan's going to take a shot and come after it. There's Armstrong with his back to Michael. Michael comes out of the blind spot from the corner, picks it off, and then takes it all the way on the break.
Michael Jordan putting on a show in this first quarter. That's point number 19. He's played the entire quarter, 7 of 11 from the field, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. 37 points represents the most the Wizards have scored this season in the first quarter. Michael Jordan's high for the year, 41. That was in that double overtime win over the Indiana Pacers earlier this month. Final seconds. Armstrong from center court. And Michael Jordan is hearing it from this capacity crowd. 20 points in the quarter. After one, it's the Wizards. 38, the Magic, 22. Out of Washington, D.C. on a 24-degree night. While indoors, Michael Jordan, red hot on the 10-year anniversary of a 64-point performance. And as it turned out, the Bulls were beaten by Orlando, 128 to 124. And here tonight in the first quarter, 20 points for Michael. Washington with its best quarter output of the season with 38. They lead the Magic 38-22.
And right now is really going to be a challenge for Washington to maintain this pace. Without Jordan on the floor, usually Stackhouse would be there to provide the scoring punch. Who's going to provide the offense now that Michael Jordan is out? And who's going to provide the defense on McGrady and Hill?
Nice play. Russell tried to bang it off, and he did succeed as he put it off the leg of Garrity. Well, Juan Dixon, the rookie from Maryland, is checked in. Tom Thomas also on the floor. Teron Lue is at the point. So Lue and Dixon in the backcourt. Kwame Brown also just came on. So Brown up front with Thomas and Russell. Thomas coming up short. Brown kept it alive. And back comes Ball. Shot ball for Pat Garrity for three.
And that's why a team like Orlando has to push the basketball. That's why you have to give them the opportunity to stop, pull up behind the three-point line, because they're so dangerous, and it's tough for the transition defense to get back and match up in time with the correct person. So many times you wind up in a mismatch in transition.
Sets the screen and gives a shot.
In transition, as they come down the floor, you know this man with the ball knows that his teammate is going to run to a certain spot and then stop and spot up immediately. So as everybody takes off, he knows, leading the break, I've got a three-point shooter to my left who's going to stop short of going to the basket. It's just a matter of getting on the ball. Nobody there to play defense. It's an open look.
Kwame Brown called for an offensive foul to give the ball back to the Magic. And a foul here on Teron Lue. Orlando is now 5 of 11 from downtown.
And because of their propensity to shoot threes, you're never out of a game because they may shoot you miss a lot to ignite the fast break. And you, on the other hand, Washington, from their standpoint, they can't relax right now. Couple threes, boom, it's right back under double-digit lead.
Juan Dixon called for the foul. Juan Dixon with a very difficult matchup. A moment ago, he's caught on a mismatch with Grant Hill. Shot clock to 7. And the Clint lost it.
Jeff, as you mentioned, Orlando can get back in the game quickly. They're third in the NBA in three-point field goals attempted, almost 18 attempts per game.
Juan Dixon playing only his 11th game as a member of the Wizards. Reach-in foul on the Clerk. Juan Dixon was going very well, and then was put on the injured list with a sprained left elbow. He had been coming on. He scored a career-high 18 in the game against the 76ers. This is only his second game back. The other night against Toronto, just 2 for 10 from the field. There's Juan. He helped lead Maryland to the NCAA championship last season. He was the Final Four MVP.
And Mark, Doug Collins made the point to us today that he doesn't want to try to convert Juan Dixon into a point guard. He is what he is. He's a scoring, a little bit undersized 2 guard. But if they have a big point guard like Larry Hughes playing with him, then Larry Hughes can guard the 2 and Juan Dixon can guard the point.
If you're Doug Collins right now, you're looking at the team on the floor and riding Michael Jordan in their first quarter, 7 for 11 shooting. The Wizards shot 62% and scored 38 points, as we see Orlando scrap and come up with it. But now, who do the Wizards go to in this particular quarter with Michael sitting out?
Crowd looking for travel on Garrity. As McGrady sets up, an offensive foul is called. Illegal screen set by Andrew the Clerk. And for those of you who may have just tuned in, Washington going without Jerry Stackhouse, sideline with that strained left groin. And Jerry played through the injury for 3 games, limped his way through it, and then finally sat out the other night against Toronto. And as mentioned earlier, could be out anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks. Thomas getting inside.
Big people scoring on the inside for the Wizards. And again, when you see Stackhouse sitting out, normally Doug Collins could work his rotations that if Michael's out, Stack is in. Right now, both of them are out.
Here is Grant Hill, and he's been off. Back comes Dixon. Armstrong able to draw the foul. It's a charge on Juan Dixon.
One of the best in the league at guessing and stepping in there and taking charges. Anytime you come down on a fast break, you have to anticipate this guy, Darrell Armstrong, is going to be in the lane stepping in. This time he does it in the backcourt, pressuring the ball handler.
One of the best and also flopping. And so I never know if Darrell's taking legitimate contact or he's flopping. That one was a legitimate hit.
Once again, Hill being played by Dixon. Here's Hill trying to go glass, and it's tipped home by Garrity.
Grant Hill just does not look comfortable offensively at all. And I'm really feeling for him because here's a guy who's trying to play through pain for the good of his team, and you just wonder how much longer he can go on fighting the mental battle knowing he's not fully 100% healthy.
It's played by Hill, but Thomas gets it back and then blew the layup. Grant Hill wanted to play here back in his home area, grew up in Reston, Virginia. His parents at the game, Calvin Hill, great NFL player. Mom Janet Hill, sitting to our left, in fact. And looked like Grant came up limping on that last sequence. Grant is back on the floor for another 6-minute segment here in this second quarter. Here's Tyronn Lue. 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter, and the Wizards up by 12. Dixon with a pretty crossover, but cannot conclude it.
And you're supposed to outlet it to the correct color uniform.
Washington gets it back. Dixon being played by Hill. Brown had it stripped by Armstrong. 2-on-1. McGrady around Lue. It counts. The foul.
You see the problems that are there for Washington after scoring 38 points in the first quarter. Washington comes out and scores just 3 points here in the first 4.5 minutes, I should say, of the second quarter.
Timeout called. It's the Wizards by 10. All right, Grant Hill's parents, that's Calvin and Janet. Calvin, one-time Dallas Cowboy, Washington Redskin, outstanding NFL player. As we mentioned, Grant grew up in Reston, Virginia. Played his high school ball at the South Lakes. This is vintage footage from his sophomore season from February of 1988. Off the steal. And here's Grant Hill on the alley-oop. That's the game winner as his club celebrates a 71-69 victory.
Marv, I must pass this information along to you. Speaking with Calvin Hill prior to the game, he mentioned that our producer, and this came out of Grant's mouth as well this morning, was the man back in those days. They actually used to be teammates, and they all said that Scooter Vertino, Albert Vertino, as we affectionately know, he was the man back then.
It was back in the grade school days.
Yeah,
Scooter was setting Grant up at the time.
And he actually threw a pass occasionally.
Scooter often demonstrates his crossover move to us. Michael Jordan back on the floor. He had 20 points in the first quarter. So the Wizards now lead 43-32.
So with 5 minutes of the oxygen tank on Michael on the bench, he's back on the floor now to get the offense back in line.
Jordan defending on Hill. And a foul is called. The outside official, Ron Garrison, blowing the whistle. That's on Thomas.
Doc Rivers complaining that left arm of Michaels is riding Grant Hill all the way across the lane. That's what Doc's complaining about.
So Grant Hill at the line looking for his first point. For Grant, it is his third comeback attempt from the left ankle surgery. Played only 4 games in his first season with Orlando. 14 games last year before hobbling off the court in pain. In his final season with Detroit, he averaged a career-high 25 a game. 6-time All-Star. And has been in and out of the lineup this season.
As difficult as it is for his teammates and for the coaching staff in Orlando, how about Grant? I mean, how do you get yourself going when you haven't practiced? I mean, this is about timing and execution and stamina and conditioning. You don't have any of those things when you just basically watch most days.
Michael Jordan attempting a three-pointer. He back to three-point territory. Last touched by the Magic.
And Hill's reliance, or his game, was slashing, beating people off the dribble. And if your ankle or legs aren't sound, there's no way you're going to have the quickness and explosion or even the trust in your leg to beat people off the dribble.
Michael way off on that quick release jump. And back comes McGrady. Tracy to this point with 11 points. The Clerk getting position on Thomas. And Orlando is within 7. An 11-2 run by the Magic.
Mark, to me, I think Grant Hill is struggling right now. I think he's struggling running up and down the floor conditioning-wise. And I think he's hurting a little bit. He may have twisted that ankle back earlier in the game, as you said. You can see it. He's grimacing every now and then, and he's puffing hard right now.
McGrady is fouled by Russell. Well, Orlando coming back from a 16-point deficit. They're down by 9 when we resume. Tracy McGrady will shoot 2 at the line. 5:47 remaining first half. Well, guys, 4 lucky Wizard fans are seated on the TNT fan bench. The winners randomly selected by the Wizards front office. The only way to watch the NBA on Thursdays is with tickets or on TNT. Tracy McGrady to the foul line. Tracy leading the NBA in scoring. He's at 29.8. Had a season high of 47 back in early November at Milwaukee. That's 12 points for McGrady. And the Wizards now lead by 8. A season-high 38 points for Washington in the first quarter. Led by Michael Jordan, who had 20 of the 38 points. But Orlando has come right back after trailing by as many as 16. Good pressure on the inbounds as Leitner gets it into Hughes.
And that is Mr. Energy for Orlando. Darrell Armstrong, the guy who energizes all the practices for the Magic, and when he gets on the floor, puts a little extra something in his team's tank.
And a foul is called, a reach-in on Armstrong.
Darrell Armstrong gets up into the basketball and causes problems. As Larry Hughes is converted into the point guard position. He's naturally a scorer, and Armstrong understands that he's not totally comfortable handling against great pressure, and that's what Armstrong's trying to do.
Now Mike Miller defending on Michael Jordan. Shot clock to 4. Down to 2. Jordan with the shot and beats the 24. 24 points for Michael Jordan.
But I really like how Orlando, with Armstrong in the game, is up into them a little bit more, making it more difficult. Your defense always starts with your point guard's ability to pressure the ball as Garrity knocks down a 2. And Armstrong is giving them the pressure they need to start with a defensive intensity that they're going to need to get back into the game.
You know, it's interesting how one guy alone, as Michael Jordan draws the foul, misses the basket attempt, one guy can start the team's attitude changing defensively. For Washington, it's Charles Oakley without question. When Oakley gets onto the floor, there's a different mentality defensively for the Wizards. We saw Michael Jordan a couple games back in Chicago just basically take Jalen Rose out of the game because he made a concerted effort to go after Rose defensively. He was not going to let him touch the basketball. That's what Armstrong does for the Magic.
And another guy like on Orlando, whenever he comes into the game, gives you great energy and great intensity, is DeClercq. So, you know, he's up on the board, he's making physical contact, he's putting his body in front of the ball. I really like how DeClercq adds something to their bench.
Andrew DeClercq, originally a second-round pick of Golden State. With the Warriors, Boston, Cleveland, third year with Orlando. Darrell Armstrong cuts it to a 7-point Washington lead. Arv Albert with the Czar, Mike Fratello, Jeff Van Gundy, Cheryl Miller with the MCI Center in Washington. An adventurous sequence for Larry Hughes. And McGrady forced to give it up by Russell. Now Leitner switches off to McGrady. Here's McGrady. Rebounded by McGrady. McGrady with the tip.
That's just an outstanding effort. They switched the pick and roll. McGrady drove by Leitner, missed, got up on the board, missed again, got up on the board again, and finally finished it.
Just under 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Now McGrady played by Russell. Nice pass. McGrady for the Quirks. And the Magic within 3 points.
Orlando's done a good job of figuring out what Washington was doing defensively. They've spread the court a little bit more now with this particular set of people on the floor. And by taking McGrady and putting him on the outside, he can face the defense up, see what's coming at him. Then it's a matter of movement on the weak side, and he can pick somebody out.
Mike Miller defending on Michael Jordan. Jordan's pass mishandled by Etan Thomas. McGrady from way downtown. Last touch by Hughes. Now Brendan Haywood will check in. And a timeout called by Doug Collins with 2:55 remaining first half. Wizards now clinging to a 3-point lead.
I didn't know they won an NBA championship here. Washington, when they were the Washington Bullets.
Yeah, what's his name?
That's when Wes Unseld. Who? Was that Wes Unseld here? Who?
And Darrell Armstrong getting a little history and knowledge while he was laying there earlier today. And speaking of Wes Unseld, number 41 in the All-Star games in 1969, 71, 72, 73, and 75. He is the Wizards' all-time leading rebounder at 13,769 and is currently the general manager of the Wizards. Only the second player, rookie season, besides Wilt Chamberlain. Besides Wilt Chamberlain, Wes Unseld, the only player to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year. Remember, TNT is your exclusive home for the NBA All-Star Game in Atlanta on Sunday, February 9th, Mark.
Wes Unseld, a Hall of Famer, named one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. Wes not here tonight on a scouting mission. Traveling violation is called.
And Marv, Darrell Armstrong, if he would have played during Wes Unseld's era and had gotten picked by him in the backcourt, he wouldn't have asked who he was. He would have known.
Yes. Yeah, well, he wouldn't be picking the ball up in the backcourt because Wes Unseld used to go back there about 70 feet away from the basket, set a screen in the backcourt, and his guard would run that defender off at 100 miles an hour, and then it was a pancake.
Jordan forced to give it up by the defensive play of the Clerk, and it's picked off. Wes Unseld also had one of the incredible outlet passes of all time as Tracy McGrady is fouled. The Wizards were saying clean block, but there was contact.
Special attention paid to Tracy McGrady. You see Hayward coming over there, protect the basket, goes up high, but does get, without question, part of the arm.
And the problem is right now is Washington's pick and roll defense. Garrity set the pick on the ball, so they switched to prevent Garrity from stepping back and shooting the three, but that leaves Leitner on McGrady. McGrady's taking him off the dribble, blowing by him, helps get in there late, and he's getting to the free throw line. Today at the shoot-around, Doug Collins said, we've got to make him shoot jump shots after we switch. Right now, they're giving him layups and free throws.
Tracy, an 80% free throw shooter. Now the Wizards are 54% from the field for the game. Orlando started slowly, but in this third quarter, they've hit 9 of 15, and they have outscored Washington 22-8 to cut that lead down to 2.
And Jeff, you know, as a coach, every so often you have to give a friendly reminder to your team members that you need to start taking the ball as Michael Jordan hits his jumper. You need to take the ball to the basket. When that switch takes place and there's an obvious mismatch in the favor of McGrady, you don't want him settling for jump shots all the time. Shit, sometimes it's going to be a jumper, but you want him to put pressure on the defense, and when a player forgets, a coach may have to remind him about that.
Good play by Leitner to knock it aside. McGrady with the step, thought he had the step. Leitner waited, he was very patient, and at the right time was able to get a piece of it. Only Michael Jordan and Eton Thomas have scored for the Wizards since late first quarter. Here is Jordan. He is now 10 of 18 from the field as Russell is called for the foul. Brian Russell with his third three apiece on Russell and Hayward.
Brian Russell got a running start from the right corner when Michael went up for the jump shot. Brian obviously didn't see the blue shirt in front of him. Contact took place, and that's where the foul was called. Russell felt that it was just two people going after the basketball. That's why he questioned that particular call.
And Washington over the foul limit, so Mike Miller, one of the better foul shooters in the league at 87%, will go to the line.
And that happened to be the third personal foul on Russell, so as a result, looks like Bobby Simmons will check in the game for the Wizards.
Bobby Simmons, second-year man from DePaul, who was dropped at the start of the year, then re-signed several weeks back. Always a favorite of head coach Doug Collins. So, well, DeClerc is the man who was fouled, not Miller, so DeClerc at the line. Well, there's still time for you to be the general manager of your own NBA team. Log on to NBA.com or America Online, keyword NBA.com, and play virtual GM for a chance to win weekly prizes. Well, Mike Miller tried to go to the line, apparently, being the 87% free throw shooter, but it was DeClerc, a 63% shooter, who was the man fouled by Russell. And DeClerc misses on both Simmons with the rebound. 1:20 to go in this first half.
Jeff, you could play GM. Maybe you could pick a player from another country.
Any particular country you have in mind?
Maybe that big guy, 7-footer.
Frenchman?
Oh, man, you guys are wearing me out on that, huh? Freddie?
Orlando with a foul to give, and it was given by Sasser.
Michael Jordan again running that little curl action in towards the middle of the foul line. As he starts to pull back, he draws the contact, asking his teammates, where are you going to be? Spot up when they come to double team me so I can find an open man to make a pass.
The problem going into the second half for the Wizards is who is going to help him score enough points to win the game. Orlando's going to get near 95 to 100. Who's going to score for Washington?
Shot clock down to 3. Well, there's the man who scored for Washington, Larry Hughes, in a very quiet game. Only 6 points for Hughes. The Wizards now lead by 6. They've led by as many as 16. Jordan slaps it away from Kemp, but knocked it out of bounds. So the Magic maintaining possession.
And one of the problems with one-man assaults like Jordan has gone on in the first half is that other players defer, take back seat, and then when Jordan needs help in the second half, are they going to be enough in rhythm to give him the help that he needs?
Yes, Michael taking a lot of shots. He's pumped it up 18 times, but he's had the hot hand. Jordan looking to strip, and he's called for the foul. He made contact with Kemp.
I just don't think he gets any respect, Mark.
Who, Kemp?
No, guy who fouled him, number 23.
Oh, you can bet one thing, he won't foul out.
Sound very bitter when you say that.
You know what? That play in particular is one. You know, they always used to give you the referees when it was Jordan was involved, hands part of the ball. Well, so is the arm part of the hand, which is part of the ball, and the shoulders part of the arm part of the hand. He got away with unbelievable amounts of those slap down fouls. We should have been on the line more.
This is definitely a carryover. Many years.
Well, that was the first foul committed by Jordan as we come up on 20 seconds remaining in this first half. They double up on Hughes. Jordan around Sasser, gives it up, and it's recovered by Leitner off the pass that was off the mark.
Bobby Simmons with the assist by sticking his hand up and touching the ball and tips it to Leitner.
Final seconds of the half. Armstrong reverses. And Vaughn not able to hold on, so Washington gets it back with 2 seconds remaining in this first half. Leitner will throw in. Here's Lou. Can he get it off? Well, that's the end of the first half. A sensational half from Michael Jordan. 28 points on 10 of 18 from the field, 8 for 10 from the line. The rest of the Wizards had 27 points. Tracy McGrady with 16 to lead Orlando. Halftime in Washington. It's the Wizards 55, the Magic 49. And what a first half from Michael Jordan. This was a vintage performance, 28 points in 20 minutes.
Yeah, he plays 20 out of the 24 minutes. He's taken 18 field goal attempts. The next closest person for the Wizards has 4 field goal attempts. So in the second half, as the minutes build up and perhaps he's not getting the same looks at the basket, who steps up? How do they maintain the same pace on offense?
And for Orlando, McGrady's done a great job, a little bit quieter than Jordan, but 16 points. But where they turned it around, Marv, second quarter defense. DeClerc, Darrell Armstrong started exerting their energy and their will on the game, got him back into the game.
Yes, they came back from a 16-point deficit to get back into it. Here's a look at our Jeep game summary. 44% for the half. For the Magic, they picked it up in the second quarter, 17 of 39 overall. Red hot shooting by Washington, 22 of 39, and Orlando has done it from three-point range, 5 for 12 from downtown. They've also had 13 assists on 17 field goals, which is impressive. So the third quarter is underway. And here's McGrady, Tracy McGrady, with 19 points. That's his second three. Let's check in with Cheryl.
Thanks a lot, Marvel. I just spoke to Coach Rivers, and he said that the second quarter was much better because of the defensive intensity, better ball pressure. They were more physical. Now, Mike, you noticed that Grant Hill in the second quarter was limping. He will not play. His ankle is still bothering him. So Coach said that to make sure that Mike Miller has to step it up in the second half.
And Mike Miller just try to defend on that three. Christian Leitner with 11. He's hit 5 for 5 from the field.
And Marv, as we said in the open of this game, as Vaughn tees it up and hits the jump shot, Grant Hill is starting tonight, but will he finish tonight? Going to be limited to just 25 minutes. Well, he never got close to it. Only 12 minutes for Grant Hill. As a result, we have Vaughn here starting in the second half in place of Grant Hill.
And Jacques Vaughn, while not a great perimeter shooter, is an excellent ball pressure guard and will help establish a defensive mindset to start the third quarter.
Leitner, and that is his first miss. So the numbers on Hill, 0 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the line. Miller. So that's 10 points for Mike Miller.
And coming down in transition, Sean Kemp just kind of moseyed on over, set a screen in transition to give Miller that quick pick and roll look. That's what Doc Rivers is talking about, Cheryl just mentioned. Try and help him out, get more shots.
Talking with Doc Rivers prior to the game tonight, he talking about the whole scenario with Grant Hill, and Doc said if Grant gets to the level where he's feeling excruciating pain, where it doesn't go away, he's done. And apparently he did hit that level. Sean Kemp gets involved with Larry Hughes, and they'll jump it up.
I wonder if Orlando's to the point just to sit him out for X amount of time, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, a month, just to see if that gives their team more stability so they know who's coming into each game, who's playing, what the rotation is, and hopefully maybe time will help heal him. Although, as Doc Rivers told us, there's no guarantee to that.
Sure, as Doc mentioned, we could sit him out for 2 months, get to the end of the year, we still could be in the playoff race. You bring him back one game, and it could be exactly the same as it is right now, so then what'd you accomplish?
The only thing I would say they would accomplish is stability for their team, knowing who's going to play in what role.
Shot clock to 2. Russell should have tried to unleash that shot. Went for the extra pass, with the shot clock rolling down. Here's Vaughn on a fadeaway move. So for the first time tonight, the game is tied. The Wizards and the Magic at 58 with 2.5 gone by in the third. Well, Michael Jordan leading the way for the Wizards on 10 of 18 shooting for 28 points. He is not only scoring, he is a coach on the floor.
This can be very intimidating for a coach, and Doug Collins in particular. When you have a guy like Michael Jordan who knows every play, knows every assignment of all the teammates that are on the floor at the same time, and is trying to coach while he's on the floor and teach at the same time. There are many coaches that would be affected by this and would not be able to perform their job the way Doug Collins. But there's a very special relation between these two people. Doug Collins knows that Michael Jordan respects his knowledge. Doug Collins knows that Michael Jordan is trying to help these youngsters, to develop and grow.
And he knows Michael Jordan was ultimately the one that hired him here. So Michael Jordan believes in Doug Collins, and who can't believe in Michael Jordan, not just his skill, but also his incredible desire to win games.
And as Jordan looked to knock it away from McGrady, called for a touch foul. That's his second personal.
Let's get the ball back. Slice it out. Slice it off.
3 minutes gone by in the third. Orlando at one stretch down by as many as 16. McGrady rebounded by Russell. Doug Collins has Christian Laettner up front with Ryan Russell, Brendan Hayward, Michael Jordan, Larry Hughes in the backcourt. Russell has been reluctant to shoot. The Orlando Magic at 20-20. They have lost 5 of their last 7 games. They come off a loss Monday night at home to Detroit. They lost by 15, and McGrady turns it over. In the previous game, this past Sunday, beat the Sixers in Philadelphia. For the Magic, it's game 1 of a 3-game road trip.
Take a look and see who this is off at the last second, because Michael just stood there like it was going to be a side out of bounds. You see Michael, but then the last touch was McGrady, so it's a good call by the official. McGrady was out of bounds waiting for the ball to come to him.
I don't know. Did Jordan get a piece of it?
Yeah, he did first, and then McGrady touched second.
And off the lead pass, a foul called.
I have to respectfully disagree with Bizarre on that. I thought that was clearly off Jordan and should have been Magic's ball side out.
I thought so. I don't know, Czar.
Not that you two would gang up on me or anything.
No, this is not personal. Don't make it a personal thing. This is about getting the call right, which is what officials, and we have good ones here again tonight as Larry Hughes makes it 3. Scott Boss is one of the best officials that we have in the NBA. I just disagree with the call.
He's 10th on your best officials list this year.
61-58, Washington. Here's Vaughn for 3. Comes to Miller. Rebounded by Russell.
Right now, Washington is trying to match Jordan up on Vaughn to conserve his energy and also so that he can be a help defender. It's going to be very difficult for McGrady to get the space he needs in the half court unless Vaughn can knock down shots.
They double up on Jordan. Russell He had a foot on the line. It's a two-pointer. And Michael is facing the double team, something he has not been facing that frequently this season. McGrady to the crossover. Tracy McGrady. So Tracy with 21 points.
Well, we saw the switch on the high pick and roll that time. McGrady, instead of trying to blow by the big man, got a little space where the tricky dribble came through his legs and then just elevated and shot it over the top.
I would run that pick and roll to death right now because McGrady can get clean airspace jump shots anytime he wants, and then they're going to have to play him harder, the big man, and can drive it to the rim.
Larry Hughes able to drill it, and other people are getting involved for the Wizards. Not the case in the first half, where Michael Jordan scored 28 of the 55 points. Shot clock down to 4. McGrady. Tracy McGrady leading the league in scoring, averaging just under 30 per game and turning it from the 6 of 19 the other night against the Pistons. Haywood is fouled by Kemp. Second on Kemp. Haywood to the line. Well, Tracy McGrady at 29.8 coming into tonight's game, followed by Kobe Bryant of the red-hot Los Angeles Lakers. Allen Iverson right there along with Shaquille O'Neal, Paul Pierce. Wizards have scored on their last 4 possessions, and Michael Jordan not involved in the scoring column.
We saw 2 of those leading scorers happen to be on the same team out west, talking about obviously Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal, and it seems like the Lakers are starting to come around a little bit right now.
I would think as well as Sacramento and Dallas have done, they do not want to face the Lakers on a first round or early round situation. Brendan Haywood able to power his way in.
No, in fact, whichever one of those 2 teams winds up with the best record is going to be rooting very hard for the Lakers either to be out of it or hurry up and win a lot more games so they're not in the 8th spot.
Brady being played by Leitner. Wizards with a 6-point lead. Jordan to the crossover. That got the crowd going as he set up 2. And back comes McGrady.
Last time Leitner was on McGrady. This time it was Hughes until he got picked off, and he winds up with Haywood at the end against him.
Here's Vaughn. Well, Jacques Vaughn, who started the second half in place of Grant Hill. Hill getting the start tonight. Played 12 minutes in the first half. Came up hobbling on a couple of occasions. He's through for the night, and Vaughn's hit a couple of buckets in this third quarter. And as Haywood looks for position, he is fouled. Darrell Armstrong, Andrew the Clerk, Gerald Sasser come on, foul on Vaughn, his second.
And Kemp's going to the bench, but I really liked how Shawn Kemp, how he played help defense this half. He's not anymore going to be a shot blocker up over the rim, but he used his body to protect the basket. Took a hard foul on Haywood. He's forced a jump ball and just met, as Jordan's fouled in the post by Sasser, he just met the last driver with his body. You got to let people know you're not taking the ball to the basket easily. Kemp did a good job.
Orlando with their 4th team foul. Here's Tyronn Lue coming on for Ryan Russell. Russell sits down with 4 points. Non-shooting foul. Michael Jordan missed the layup. Last week against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden, in the fourth quarter, Michael missing on 3 layup possibilities. Here's Hughes to the left hand. Hayward on the tip. In that game against the Knicks, though, Michael played 41 minutes, playing despite a bout with the flu and was run down in the fourth quarter, but still he couldn't believe that he missed the 3 chippy shots. Jordan able to knock it away. Timeout is called by Doc Rivers.
You talk about other people getting involved. Well, Larry Hughes wants to take advantage of the transition. Tries to get the lefty layup up on the glass at least, so that hopefully a teammate will be there. Brendan Haywood with the follow.
Welcome back to the MCI Center, and many of you may remember Iron Brown, the young victim of the D.C. area sniper who was shot outside his middle school during his recovery. He mentioned that T-Mac was his favorite player, and when informed, McGrady sent a Tate Get-Well message to the youngster. Well, after he was released from the hospital, McGrady and the Magic flew Iron down to Orlando for a week of Christmas to attend a couple of games and go to the theme parks. McGrady says that he plans to stay in touch with Iron for good and make sure that he is great in school and life and everything's going well. But Marv, what is he doing wearing a Michael Jordan jersey? A little controversy here.
I think Iron has mixed emotions. What a nice gesture, though, by Tracy McGrady.
Well, he's wearing the Wizards jersey because he's sitting in the owner's box of the Wizards, and obviously he has the Romans there. You're not going to sit up there with a Magic jersey. Come on.
Well, how about no jersey? Just come in your city.
Well, they may have given him the jersey when he got up there. That's why he's wearing it.
Here's Teron Lue for 3. Just under 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Wizards up by 6. See, the czar, Jeff, is so pliable, so he relates on that level.
Yeah, he brings out ancient history for us, metaphors, you know. He's a master of all.
Michael Jordan on the drive against Sasser. And a loose ball foul against the Magic. Meanwhile, Jordan's missed 5 of his last 6 shots. So Orlando is over the foul limit.
2 shots.
And here are the numbers. Michael now 10 of 20 overall. 28 points all in the first half, which sent us to the record books just in case. The all-time franchise scoring record for a single game is held by Bernard King. He scored 52 against Denver in December of 1990. Michael had a 50-point game last season against the Charlotte Hornets. And he had that 41-point outburst in the double overtime win over Indiana earlier this month.
But even when he misses, as he did on his last drive, he's creating offense because bigs are having to come over to try to block shots. Brendan Haywood took advantage of it, got to the offensive board, got it, got fouled, and made his free throw.
Defensive 3-second violation against the Wizards. Technical foul. Armstrong will shoot it. Kwame Brown has come on for Christian Laettner. Laettner playing well again with 11 points, 5 for 6 from the field. Coming up next, right here on TNT, Game 2 of our exclusive NBA coverage as the Seattle Supersonics take on the Utah Jazz. Tomorrow on ESPN2, it's the Bucks and Sixers. On ESPN at 9:30, Lakers and the Rockets. Mike Miller able to bury the long-range jumper. So Washington is up by 5. And be sure to join us back on TNT Monday, a Martin Luther King Day special tripleheader with our coverage starting at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Sasser all over George. Michael surprised his teammates. Kwame Brown able to recover. Here's Lue for 3. Lue with a good hustle. Hughes for 3. Jordan on the rebound. And another possession. And you can see Michael is very much into this. This all stemming from the bad loss. And the Wizards very upset losing to the Raptors at home the other night. Hughes, another offensive rebound, and Hughes converts. That has to get Doc Rivers crazy.
Well, you give a team 4 chances at the basket, eventually they're going to make a shot. Doc Rivers knows that as well as anyone, but there are some things that are inevitable that you have no control over. When the ball hits the rim and bounces long, sometimes the other team just gets to it first.
Stephen Hunter, who played briefly in the first half. It's only his second game back, coming back from the injury. 74-69, Wizards on that last Wizard possession. They had the ball for 55 seconds off the 4 offensive rebounds. Baseline is closed off by Sasser. Shot clock down to 3. Jordan has to fire. Half minute remaining in the third quarter. Armstrong.
Mark, Orlando is just killing the Wizards right now on high screening rolls in transition. The bigs for Washington have to come up and take away that open pocket jump shot.
Well, Jeff, why would you recognize it now? It's only the end of the third quarter, but they've been doing this over and over again. That the big men should be up on the screen.
I think you mentioned it earlier, as Brown is not able to hit.
I am agreeing with him. I'm just trying to say it's taken a long time to understand. They keep running high pick and rolls. Get up there, big men.
All right, 3 quarters complete. Michael Jordan has played all but 4 minutes over the 3 quarters. And the Wizards lead the Magic 74-71. All right, a glimpse at the Georgetown area here in our nation's capital on a cold, crisp night. 24 degrees outside. Wizards with a 74-71 lead on the Magic. Marv Albert, Nick Lazar, Mike Fratello, Jeff Van Gundy, Cheryl Miller. A look at the Eastern Conference standings, and positions 4 through 8 are certainly up for grabs, and Orlando and Washington both at the 500 mark. It's 3-way tie for the number 6 slot.
And this game is so important because Orlando, as you see right there, they lead this series 2-0. If they win this game tonight, Orlando, that's the season series for them over Washington. So if it comes down to a tiebreaker between these 2 teams, Orlando would get it. And also, don't count out Milwaukee, who's 18-20, and even New York Knicks, 14-22, and playing much better now than the beginning of the season.
And Milwaukee's playing better ever since Kukoc came back. He just adds a totally another dimension to him because he can shoot and pass, and he's unselfish. And the Knicks are playing better. They're playing much harder this year, and they're scoring the ball easier than they have because they're posting free will and Houston.
Kwame Brown with his first field goal of his 4th quarter gets underway. Open shot for Sasser. And away from the ball, a foul is called as Brendan Haywood and Andrew DeClerc got involved. It is a loose ball call on Haywood. That's his 4th.
You tell me that an injury or 2 here or there could not change the entire team's season. You take one guy out like Stackhouse with this team in Washington. You add a guy back to the mix as Sprewell came back from New York. Suddenly it makes just a huge difference. Lenny Wilkins up in Toronto. He can't keep enough guys healthy to get something going up there in Toronto.
Tracy McGrady with 25 points.
And what they did there, Marv, was they screened their point guard for McGrady. Loose switch. That gave McGrady about a 10-inch difference, height advantage. He just rose up and shot over.
Hughes trying to adjust the shot while in midair as he was fouled, hit by DeClerc. That's 3 on DeClerc, and Hughes will go to the line. Michael Jordan getting a rest coming into this 4th quarter. He played all but 4 minutes, leading the way with 28 points. And Doug Collins has Haywood, Brown, and Russell up front. Hughes and Lou in the backcourt. Doug in his 2nd year as head coach here in Washington. Last year led the Wizards to that 18-game turnaround. They went 37-45 as they turned it from the worst season in the history of this franchise. In fact, last year they appeared to be headed for the playoffs before Michael Jordan went down. The officials checking with each other. And it will be Orlando ball.
I thought they missed that one. I thought that was off Andrew DeClerc. Here it goes. It goes up. DeClerc. Tough call. It's off DeClerc. It's got to go the other way.
Sounds to me like you want to whistle very soon. Could be your next career.
And DeClerc not able to hit after getting inside, getting position. Hughes. Nice kick. Let's see who will receive credit.
I'm giving Kwame credit. I don't know who they're giving it to, but I'm giving it to Kwame.
It is Kwame Brown.
And it's so funny in the NBA when it comes down to that, everybody raises their hand for the scores to try to give the 2 points to. And let's face it, those scorekeepers, they make an extra buck here or two at Christmas if the statistics go the right way. Oh, hey, I've seen it happen before. I've seen it.
Russell called for the foul, his fourth. Those are very strong charges.
Well, they all put their hands up when the foul is called, don't they, Jeff?
Yeah. And to come out.
Armstrong with a wild shot.
Good job by Russell tipping that one away.
How about Hughes going behind the back to get it down court? It cuts, and the foul.
Usually don't see your 7-footer filling the left lane, getting the pass at the end and finishing. Most of the time they're coming down the middle to tip in or miss or something like that. In this particular situation, Brendan Haywood on the left wing finishes it off and will go to the foul line.
And it proves once again, you can score in this league as Haywood has. He's got 13 points tonight without having a single play called for you. You do it through energy and effort, going to the offensive board, running the floor, and being the recipient of double teams against great players like Michael Jordan.
Four offensive rebounds for Haywood also.
Very strong game for Haywood, who was acquired from the Magic in exchange. That's an offensive foul. Haywood was acquired in exchange for Laurent profits and what were called future considerations.
Which is a first-round draft choice, Marv, that Orlando has the right to take this year or in the next couple of years. So this is especially important if Orlando could somehow knock Washington out of the playoffs. They could take a lottery pick this year.
Kwame Brown squeezing his way. Kwame Brown with the rebound. And a foul called on Orlando. The official, Anthony Jordan, came racing out of the pack to make that call in animated fashion. Calls it on Garrity. That's his third.
It's just tough to see in the pack. You got a lot of bodies jumping on the inside, but somewhere in there, there's Garrity with a little shove, the hip into the back of Kwame Brown. That's where the foul is called.
This is also a critical time because Washington has extended their lead by 7 in the first 3 minutes with Jordan being able to rest. And if they had cut the lead or taken the lead right off the bat, Jordan's rest as the ball's thrown away would have been much shorter. So this is a great boost and confidence builder for Washington that they can play without Jordan on the floor.
Larry Hughes just ran a pick and roll with Haywood. He threw the ball where he thought Haywood was going. Haywood just turned and post, never rolled to the basket because there was a defensive player in his way. So Hughes' anticipation of where he was going to be didn't take into account the fact that it was a defensive guy in front of him.
Here's Miller. Hughes to the crossover. Hughes scores and he's fouled. The foul committed by Miller. Beautiful move by Larry Hughes. Miller picks up his fourth.
Larry Hughes back in the role of a scoring guard here. Has the ability to put it on the floor, blow past the defender, and finish with the left hand.
Washington up by 12 with 8:40 to go in this fourth quarter. And a look at tonight's Bud Light headlines. A check what is going on around the NBA. Baron Davis of the Hornets bothered by the back spasms, back in action. Stanley Roberts has been reinstated by the NBA following the drug suspension. Roberts a free agent, and it'll be interesting to see if he is re-signed. Vince Carter still not ready. And last night, the Sacramento Kings with a 123-94 victory over the Dallas Mavericks. And Chris Webber, 12 for 20, 29 points, 15 rebounds, another resounding victory by the Kings. You recall last Thursday night here on TNT, Sacramento dismantled the Nets at the New Jersey Meadowlands.
That's quite a statement, taking two of the top 3 teams in the league and just blowing them both out. One on the road in New Jersey and then again at home against Dallas. And that's got to really shake Dallas's confidence that they have what it takes to win in the playoffs.
And they're going to get better, Sacramento, when Bobby Jackson comes back.
Kings 29-10 on top of the Pacific. McGrady is fouled. Dallas is now 31-6. Still with the best record in the NBA. That's number 5 on Russell. And Michael Jordan making his way toward the scorer's table. He will check in. To this point, it could not have gone any better for Doug Collins. His team came out with a lot of energy. As you mentioned, they went to the big man early, and then Michael took over. 28 points in the first half. In the third quarter, he looked to get others involved, and the Wizards had the luxury of sitting him down. They built this lead back up to 13 points, and here's Michael back on the floor with 8.5 remaining.
Well, Marv, you know an example of what's different about basketball and football? You script out, 20 plays, 25 plays in football to start a game out. In basketball, you script out that we're going to our big men early, and all of a sudden Michael Jordan gets a hot hand, and you get away from throwing the ball into the big people because he's got it going so well, and then you come out and then forget to go back to what you planned to do early.
Well, they went right back to the big man. Brendan Haywood has been outstanding. 16 points for Haywood.
And it was great dribble penetration by Larry Hughes, a nice dump off pass. And again, no play run for Haywood, but he finds a way to get to an open area, catch and dunk.
Miller for Kent. Kwame Brown has been very active off the boards. Very patient offense by the Wizards. Brown from Jordan. Kwame Brown, 6 points, 4 rebounds in this fourth quarter. I don't know, it seems every time there's a TNT telecast, Kwame breaks out. He has had some huge games on TNT. Here's Kemp. Just did beat the shot clock.
Things change as the season goes on. Players fall into different roles, but back early in the season, I thought Orlando was using Kemp a little bit more as far as stepping back, getting the ball. And now it could be the way that Washington's playing him tonight. He's not getting the same opportunities once again, or someone else has it going to not go into those particular plays. But Sean Kemp can shoot that 18-foot jump shot.
And we saw that upon occasion last year as a member of the Portland Trailblazers. They'd leave him open, and he'd hit that jumper. Foul is called on Haywood. That's his 5th. So Sean Kemp to the free throw line, a 77% free throw shooter. Let's check out the results of this week's TNT fan poll. Question was posed earlier: who is the first half Rookie of the Year? And Yao Ming with the slight edge over Amari Stoudemire of the Phoenix Sun. You can still vote. You can log on to NBA.com or America Online, keyword NBA.com.
You can see that what I said, the tie between the two, that could happen tonight. Very, very close right there.
I didn't realize you were predicting the tie.
First of all, 48-44 is not a tie.
Game's not over. The evening's not over. You can still vote. That's what Marv said. You can still vote. It could be tied up.
Don't bring me into this.
Plus, I don't even know what those other people are thinking. Amari Stoudemire has taken a lottery team with his dynamic play and made it one of the best teams in the West. He should be hands down the Rookie of the Year. He should be in the All-Star game on Sunday. In fact, I think he should be in the All-Star game on Sunday.
So basically what you're saying is you don't like Yao Ming.
No, I love Yao Ming.
Oh, come on now. You can't.
But I don't love Yao Ming enough right now for his development that he should be starting in the All-Star game and having Amari Stoudemire watching him play on Sunday. The Rookie of the Year is Amari Stoudemire without question.
Sounds like you're backtracking to me.
Winning should be a dominant theme in the NBA. Again,
Houston's winning.
not as much as Phoenix.
Now what is most annoying is that he will not venture an opinion. Christian Laettner. And the Wizards now lead 93-78. This has been for years, Jeff. He will not step out.
No, and all he wants to do is agitate and bother instead of inspire.
Garrity thought he was tripped up. Here's Hughes. The Wizards opening up a 95-78 lead. 5:40 remaining in the fourth. Some of the people that you will see on Monday, we have a special triple header on Martin Luther King Day. It's the Blazers and the Memphis Grizzlies, the Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, LA Clippers, and the LA Lakers. That'll be this coming Monday. Our coverage begins 5 o'clock Eastern Time.
Very upset about that, Mark, that triple header, because Jeff is leaving us, moving on his own.
Yes, he'll be working the first game with Dick Stockton. That's not what you said to me earlier. You were saying, oh, good, I'll have a lot more time to call.
That's the truth.
That's disappointing. That's disappointing that you feel that way after all we've been through.
It counts, and the foul.
Come on, you know he's trying to start trouble again.
Marv doesn't do that.
Thank you.
Michael tries to take the front away. A lob over the top. Now he's counting on Hughes to get there a little bit sooner. Larry Hughes a little late coming on the rotation. You must anticipate that coming from the weak side and get over there in time to either get a piece of the ball, knock it out, or close that double team.
Prior to the three-point play by McGrady, Washington was on a 19-5 run. Here's Kwame Brown. It counts, and the foul. It gets the continuation.
Michael Jordan keeping his head up the entire time the ball came inbounds. He saw Kwame take off all of a sudden. Michael throws about a 50-foot pass, top of the circle on one end, right over the top to Kwame running down the middle. And as Doug Collins told us, that's the fastest guy on our team. When he wants to run hard, no one can compete with Kwame Brown whenever they do their sprint work.
And just shows Jordan has yet to score in this half, and Washington has played great basketball because others are involved, everybody's touching the ball, and the ball's not coming to rest in Michael Jordan's hands on isolations and post-ups.
That was assist number 6 for Jordan. Tracy McGrady, 31 points. How about Kwame Brown? Did not score going into this fourth quarter. In this fourth quarter, 9 points and 6 rebounds. Here is Kwame, way off. Kept alive by Lou.
Maybe that's why Doc Rivers would love to do that trade and pick up Kwame Brown for the Magic.
And I think Doug Collins has handled Kwame Brown just right. He's giving him minutes as Jordan makes the jump shot. He's not giving Kwame Brown minutes. Kwame Brown's having to earn his minutes, and he's earned his minutes in the second half.
Michael Jordan with his first field goal in the second half. Brady pops it out to Miller for 3. The box out by Garrity, and he's fouled by Jordan. And once again, it's the young official, Anthony Jordan, no relation, calling the foul on Michael. That's 3 on Michael.
But when the ball comes down low, Michael thinks that he can get a hand in there and knock it away beforehand. From that particular angle, it looks like it's a whole lot of basketball. You probably would disagree, Jeff.
No, that was absolutely clean. And the thing I don't like about from an official standpoint on that call, he had no angle to see. That's a guess. You should never guess as an official. You've got to be in position to see it or let it go. Rely on trust your partners, Mike Fratello. That's what I say. And I ref well in practices with the Knicks. No calls were disputed there. None.
You know, I forgot to mention to you, Jeff, I don't know if you did stay up that late, but Marv was on Letterman last night. Did you happen to see any of that?
I did not.
He did an outstanding job, Marv. I thought
Jeff was catching up on his rest.
David kind of dissected you early on. Turned the fan base against you in the country.
Oh, Leitner! Tristan Leitner, 7 of 8 from the field at 15 points. Dave uses the same philosophy that you attempt upon occasion as Vaughn gets inside.
I thought it was particularly cute when he was listing all of your different assignments that you have. I thought he was in a game of Scrabble.
You know, it's just nice to know you're out there watching. Very pleasing. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in the fourth. And the Wizards up by 15. Jordan extends to a 17-point lead. Vaughn, he fooled Toronto.
Whoa. Did you see the sea open up that time?
Toronto did not think that Jacques Vaughn was going to take it straight to the basket.
Plus, he thought he had help in the middle of the floor from his big people, but they didn't run back hard to give him the support he needed.
Jordan goes glass. And a foul. Miller was grabbed from behind by Brown.
Here's Michael giving a little talk to Mr. Lou, and here we see the opening of the seas as Jacques Vaughn lays it in.
Your voice all right? Perfect. Wizards have led virtually all the way, and they're up by 15 with just under 3 remaining in the fourth. You can visit NBA.com or Valpak.com to register for a chance to win a trip to the 2004 All-Star Games. And on the subject of the All-Star Game, one of the highlights from last year, Tracy McGrady of the Magic. Watch this, throwing the ball off the backboard back to himself for the slam dunk. Remember, TNT is your exclusive home for the NBA All-Star Game in Atlanta, Sunday, February 9th. We'll be there to bring it to you. And this year's theme, Rising Stars, Living Legends.
I think that the winner of this year's All-Star Game, that conference will get home court advantage throughout the NBA playoffs.
Oh, the Czar playing off the Major League Baseball controversy. I think that's ridiculous. I don't know how you feel about it.
For that to happen in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I mean, we have guys playing who couldn't care less will not be involved in the World Series. You agree?
I would have to agree with you, yes.
They're trying to make the game more important and somehow make the result applicable to later in the season. I just think best record, either league, home field advantage. And I think the Super Bowl should be at home field advantage too, by the way. I don't think it should be at a neutral site.
So you want the cold weather teams to be able to have the advantage.
I think some of the great games, the frozen tundra, the Packer-Raider game last year, I think great games take place in the cold.
Here's Hughes. Larry Hughes with 22. There's Darryl Green. He just announced his retirement. What a great career as a member of the Washington Redskins. And Tracy's headed back to the line. Foul committed by Hughes.
McGrady in the post, fighting Jordan for every inch of the position that he wants. Michael that time takes a gamble, comes over for the steal. Instead, misses, and Larry Hughes is the next defender on his way over to try and stop McGrady from making the front of the rim. You know, Marv, I just want to mention that both of these coaches, and they're two different type teams altogether, but the great thing about both of them, the fact that they love the teaching aspect of it, and Doug Collins with the senior leadership from Michael Jordan, trying to blend in the youth of Kwame Brown and Hayward, that type of thing. On the other hand, you got Doc Rivers, who's fighting the Grant Hill situation night in and night out. Both these guys have their team right at the 500 mark. Both teams in the hunt, obviously, for the playoff position. This is not easy to do on a regular basis. Orlando has not won more than 3 games in a row, nor lost more than 3 games in a row. That's why they remain around 500. But they avoid the long losing streak, and that's because of the leadership that they're given, and likewise the Wizards on the other bench.
Grant Hill played the first 12 minutes. Once again, had a beg off, has not played in the second half as he continues to have problems with that ankle.
Talent-wise, I believe we're probably not in the top 15 in this league, talent-wise. But when you talk about basketball, that's not what matters. We go out there and we play the game the right way, we make each other better, and we compete. And because of that, we win. And it's great to watch.
And Utah has had an outstanding season, 22-15, in a third-place tie in the Midwest with the Houston Rockets. They've won 7 of the last 10. Look at Karl Malone, 19 a game. John Stockton just under 11, just under 8 assists. How about the play of Matt Harpring? What a pickup for the Utah Jazz.
Well, tied for 6th best record overall in the Western Conference with a team that Jeff didn't realize was winning any games, the Houston Rockets, both at 22-15 going into tonight's game. That's the Houston team led by Yao Ming, in case you didn't realize that.
Where does the bitterness come from?
It's from childhood. Started at a very, very early age, has continued right on.
Therapy is in order, but I think Mark Jackson and Matt Harpring, all those guys fit into how Utah plays. They don't play one-on-one basketball. They play 5-man offense, and they have a bunch of great passers. And Malone's probably one of the most underrated passers in the NBA. He's a great passer out of the low post.
Well, this is what I see. The one difference in Utah, they've always executed. They've had Malone and Stockton forever. The big thing now is they can really defend the 2 and 3 positions on the floor because Albert Chaney and Matt Harpring. And then Harpring has taken over the scoring load.
Now the putback by Stephen Hunter with 1:20 to go in this fourth quarter. Wizards now lead 106-93. Pat Burke, the 28-year-old rookie from Auburn, has come on for the first time for the Magic. And it was deflected out of bounds by Hunter. And Michael Jordan will hear it from this crowd. Replaced by Bobby Simmons. A magnificent all-around performance for Jordan. 32 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. 28 of the 32 in the first half. This is a Washington team that came out fired up, very unhappy with their play in their last game. Here at home against Toronto, Bobby Simmons able to hit. Wizards losing 84-75. Toronto had lost its previous 7 straight on the road. This is Hunter putting a move on Leitner. It's deflected to the backcourt, no violation. Vaughn, it's 5 on the 24. Here's Vaughn. Hunter trying to keep it alive and knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Magic.
For Orlando, they'll have 2 days off now, and then they go on to Toronto. Day off in between before they go to Cleveland, and then back home against Chicago. So they have some winnable games here coming up to try and bounce back from this tough loss.
Yes, this is game 1 of a 3-game road trip, and the Wizards are hearing it from this crowd. A good bounce-back victory for Washington. They'll play Saturday night here at the MCI Center against the Sixers, and they're home also on Monday for Denver. Tracy McGrady, 31 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Mike Miller had 14. And Michael Jordan with the 32-point performance. Strong game for Larry Hughes. He had 22 points, 7 assists. Christian Laettner, 7 of 9 for 15 points. And Brendan Haywood had 16. Let's go to Cheryl with Michael Jordan.
Michael, obviously the keys coming into tonight's game was passion and energy. You guys brought it tonight.
We did early. I got in the good rhythm early, and I was able to get the guys out of the block. In the second half, the guys picked us up. I think it was a great team effort. Christian played well. Larry Hughes played well in the second half. I mean, that was a great effort by everybody.
How huge was this win, especially looking at the way you guys played against Toronto?
It's good that we can put that behind us and bounce back. We're playing against a team that we're battling for the playoffs. They've beaten us twice, so we need to even up the series a little bit. And to come in and play exceptionally well basketball game, I'm glad with the way the guys came in and focused.
Can you guys continue to play like this consistently?
I hope so. I mean, with the young team, it's going to be up and down, But the thing that I like is when we have to buckle down and play good basketball, we do that.
A lot of minutes. How do you feel physically?
I feel good right now. It's tomorrow.
All right. Thanks a lot.
See you, baby.
Let's send it back to you, Mark.
All right, 38 minutes for Michael Jordan. Wizards go to 20-19. They move a full game in front of Orlando. Magic now 20 and 21. They've lost 6 of their last 8. Again, the final score, the Wizards 108. The Magic 93. An impressive performance by the Wizards, who did it without the injured Jerry Stackhouse. Coming up, it's Game 2 of our doubleheader with exclusive coverage of the Sonics and the Jazz. For the Czar, Mike Fratello, Jeff Van Gundy, Cheryl Miller, this is Marv Albert saying goodnight from the NCI Center in Washington, D.C. You've been watching TNT, the exclusive home of the 2003 All-Star Game.